Year-end awards. Best Sports Business Athlete, Caitlin Clark. No one thought this day would ever come, an NBA team riding a WNBA team's coattails, but that's how Caitlin Clark has changed the world. The Indiana Fever are now a global brand that Indiana Pacers executives say they can only hope to someday replicate, which once again proves why Clark is SBJ's choice as the Best Sports Business Athlete of the Year for 2024. She has unlocked the power of women's athletics with a following that has drawn comparisons to Michael Jordan in his Chicago Bulls heyday. It's not just basketball fans who have latched onto the 22-year-old who entered the league last summer after becoming college basketball's all-time leading scorer and drawing record TV audiences during her career at VAWA. Sponsors, brands, and even the trolls from social media have attached themselves to Clark in a way rarely seen for a female athlete. Attendance and viewership are the most indisputable evidence of her impact. The Fever averaged a WNBA record 17,035 fans at home, attracted a WNBA record 500,000 fans home and away, and averaged 1.178 million TV viewers per game, 3 times the average for everyone else. 17,035 average attendance at Indiana Fever home games this year, a WNBA record. Those audiences were rarely disappointed. Clark set a single-season record for assists and averaged 19.2 points per game en route to first-team All-NBA and Rookie of the Year honors. Meanwhile, her deals off the court are with the likes of Nike, $28 million over 8 years, State Farm, Bose, Buick, Gatorade, Glossier, Meal Organics, Opel, and Wilson. And there's more in the works that will keep her representatives at Excel Sports Management busy. Unrivaled offered her $1 million plus equity just for playing 3 months of its 3-on-3 basketball league, sources said, which she turned down because she doesn't need the exposure and could use the rest. While her 2024 WNBA salary was a paltry $76,535, her net worth through endorsements was believed to be $3.8 million, and soon to be more than $4 million. When she played in an Annika Sorenstam Golf Pro-Am in November, she attracted Arnold Palmer-type galleries and signed autographs on hats, t-shirts, and bare skin. The WNBA is not oblivious and, according to sources, eventually will schedule a Fever game overseas to capitalize on her Q rating. Privately, the plan is to market the Fever like they're America's team. Caitlin Clark to match Victor Wembanyama's pay, boldly predicts executive. The disparity in the contracts between NBA and WNBA players had perhaps never been more evident until Caitlin Clark's contract in the Women's League was compared to that of San Antonio Spurs' Victor Wembanyama. The Indiana Fever star signed a 4-year, $338,000 contract with her team, while Wemby signed a deal with the Spurs for the same number of years worth a whopping $55.1 million. When Clark made it to the list of the world's 100 most powerful women, Deloitte University principal Pete Gregorio made a bold claim in an interview with Forbes. The principal said, "The major money that funds women's sports comes from sponsorships and media rights, and even media is really just a reflection of what brands are willing to spend. Caitlin Clark will get paid the same as Victor Wembanyama when companies spend 50% of their marketing dollars on women's sports." The WNBA set multiple viewership and attendance records, especially in games that involved Caitlin Clark, but the league continued losing money in spite of it. In October, the New York Post reported that the league's owners will not be making a return on their investment for the foreseeable future. This season, 2024, the WNBA will lose $40 million, a bit better than the $50 million forecast and reported by several media outlets months ago, but still a loss, the report's sources said. WNBA will lose $40 million this season, and its NBA investors are growing impatient. It remains a mystery as to when investors will be willing to spend big to sponsor women's sports. When that time comes, every player in the WNBA will hope to see a rise in their earnings in the league. Caitlin Clark ranked 13th in Forbes' 2024 list of world's highest-paid female athletes. Caitlin Clark made it to Forbes' list of highest-paid female athletes in the world this year. Tennis star Coco Gauff topped the list, earning $9.4 million in on-court winnings and $25 million from on-court deals, roughly totaling $34.4 million. Clark took the 13th position in the list with $8.1 million, $8 million of which came from her sponsorship, endorsement, and other off-court deals. She earned a rough total of $76,500 in her first season with the Indiana Fever and is set to earn about $78,000 next year. If her off-court earnings skyrocket, she might stay on the list for next year.